This is the Ramana Maharshi Satsang. Listen, reflect, and deeply meditate. Know yourself. Welcome. I'm Richard Clarke. I'm not a guru or a teacher. Ramana's teaching is deep and profound, and I want to share it. I'll read and comment on the Ashtavakra Gita, chapter 17, the first 4 verses. In this chapter, Ashtavakra said of the true knower, one who has attained knowledge and reaped the fruits of yoga, who is content, purified of attachments, and at home in solitude. The knower of truth is never miserable in the world, for the whole universe is filled with himself alone. As the foliage of the Nome tree does not please an elephant who delights in salaki leaves, so do sense objects not please he who delights in self. Rare in the world is one who does not relish past enjoyments nor yearn for enjoyments to come. So let's break down these verses from the Ashtavakra Gita, where we are told about the true knower. Verse 17, or chapter 17, verse 1. One who has attained the knowledge and reaped the fruits of yoga, who is content, purified of attachments, and at home in solitude. This verse reveals that true spiritual attainment arises from a contentment with the self, freedom from attachments, and a deep connection with solitude. When you let go of external dependencies, then the fruits of yoga, that is, union with the self, naturally manifest. Solitude is not loneliness, but a state of peace, being grounded in your own completeness. For your spiritual practice, this verse encourages you to seek inner contentment and detach from external desires. Contentment is not about complacency, but about finding peace with what is, allowing the mind to rest and stop seeking outside yourself. If you don't rest within yourself, you will never really rest. Embracing solitude is an invitation to be present with yourself, free from distractions, and to cultivate an inner sanctuary where wisdom and clarity naturally arise. It's a reminder that the source of all fulfillment lies within. Chapter 17, verse 2. The knower of truth is never miserable in the world, for the whole universe is filled with himself alone. Ashtavakra explains that one who knows and experiences the truth, the nature of the self, recognizes the self in everything. This realization eliminates misery because you no longer see yourself as separate from the universe. The perceived boundaries between self and others dissolve in this understanding. This verse invites you to see the unity in all existence. When you see the universe as filled only with yourself, you recognize that there is no other to fear or resist. This understanding brings a profound sense of belonging and unconditional love. This is the deep meaning of not to. Misery arises from the illusion of separateness, and this verse points to the truth that unity is your natural state. Practicing and living as this awareness can transform your daily interactions and deepen your internal spiritual connection. Unity is your natural state. Chapter 17, verse 3. As the foliage of the neem tree does not please an elephant who delights in salaki leaves, so do sense objects not please he who delights in self. Ashtavakra uses a simple analogy known in India to show how someone established in the self finds no real pleasure in external sense objects. When you experience the joy of the self, the fleeting satisfaction from external sources feels insignificant. You want what you love instead of what you like. For your spiritual growth, this verse points to the lasting fulfillment that comes from self-realization. External pleasures are temporary and often accompanied by craving or dissatisfaction. Delighting in the self brings a joy that is independent of circumstances. This verse reminds you to examine what truly satisfies you and to notice the impermanence of worldly pursuits. It is an encouragement to prioritize the inner, lasting source of peace over fleeting external experiences. 17:4. Rare in the world is one who does not relish past enjoyments nor yearn for enjoyments to come. This verse highlights the rarity of someone who is free from attachment to both past and future pleasures. Such a person lives fully in the present, undisturbed by memories or expectations. Can you let yourself be such a person? Ashtavakra reminds you to release your grip on both past experiences and future expectations, fears, and desires. Clinging to the past or concern for the future keeps you from fully experiencing the present moment. The present moment is where true freedom lies. The present moment is the only time you'll find freedom. Living in the present reveals the timeless nature of the self and allows you to engage with life without the weight of regret or anticipation. This verse encourages you to rest in the now, where peace and clarity naturally arise. The verses from chapter 17 of the Ashtavakra Gita illuminate the path of self-realization through contentment, detachment, and inner focus. They guide you to let go of external dependencies and live in the present, revealing the boundless joy of recognizing the self in all. And now we have a video from Nome, Detachment and Knowledge.
Sri Bhagavan declares that vairagya and jnana are one and the same. Vairagya means detachment or dispassion, while jnana means knowledge or wisdom. They are the same in essence and in their very substance. And they are the same in the principles, if I can call them such, by which one realizes their significance. Detachment is bliss. To the degree that one is detached, one revels in bliss. The movement of the mind, confused about the nature of happiness, that manifests as attachment, is done for the sake of happiness, but brings about precisely the opposite result. It is because in attachment one looks outwardly for what is inward, to the non-self for that which is actually the self, bliss. It is the outward motion that seems to cast a curtain over, a veil over, the innate bliss. That outwardness is based on the false assumption of individuality, which is hence deficient in happiness, and the securing thus of that happiness from something. When we turn within, recognizing the source of happiness to be within, we get swallowed up, as it were, consumed in the bliss of our own nature. Then there is nothing more to be desired. In fact, Sri Bhagavan says both the desires and the aversions are done away with. One remains in waveless bliss. It is a shoreless ocean of bliss, a vast expanse of bliss that is identical with one's very being. The same holds true regarding knowledge. Indeed, self-knowledge is bliss. Knowledge is detachment, detachment from the unreal, from the non-self. And knowledge is bliss. Knowledge is consciousness. That which is referred to as being and as bliss is also consciousness. Satchidananda, being, consciousness, bliss. If one bases his knowledge, so-called, on the unexamined false assumption of individuality, what does he really know? He can say, I know this, but what does he know? He can say, I don't know this. What is it that he does not know? The attempt to secure a knowledge of what is, that is, of reality, when overlooking one's own nature, is silly, pointless. It results only in dreams, illusions. For the steady, blissful knowledge of reality, you have to know yourself. Yet yourself is not an object to be conceived or be perceived. There is a verse in Saddarshanam that pertains to this. The verse reads like this, translated from the Sanskrit. I know not me, or I know me. Thus expressions of man are to be laughed at. From the difference of the seer and the seen, is this self divided in two? The oneness of oneself, that is, the true self, indeed, is the understanding that there are no differences. Your existence is one, utterly indivisible. So how is it possible for anyone to be ignorant of himself? That would require at least two. Or how would it be possible for someone to think of himself? That again would require two. Ignorance and knowledge, so-called, do not pertain to the self. Thought and forgetfulness do not pertain to the self. Inquiring into your own self, without giving rise to the ideas, I know me, I don't know me, but inquiring into the very nature of your essential existence. You yourself in your own being shine as the knowledge called self-knowledge. Just as in detachment, in complete detachment, you yourself shine as the bliss that is entirely free. So with complete inquiry to know who you are, you shine as the supreme knowledge, which is blissful and free. Differences are a product of delusion, that is, they are born of imagination and have no reality at any time. The unborn truth, the differenceless, uncreated reality, is as it is forever. Of all differences, the first to be imagined is the assumption of individuality. I. From that single assumption, for that assumption, in that assumption, appears the imagination of all difference, including every kind of misidentification and every kind of attachment. Who am I? What is the very nature of I? Your own self. Certainly it is not a body. And just as certain is it that it is not a thought. It is no kind of person whatsoever. Inquire and know the differenceless nature of your very existence, your very consciousness, your very bliss. Knowledge, formless, not a possession to be gained or lost, such as I know it, I do not know it, but rather the ever-revealed, the self-luminous, is abidance as the self. With utter detachment toward all the unreal, with profound knowledge of the non-objective truth. Abide in the self as the self.
Now we'll take some time and inquire within ourselves. You exist. Notice that you exist, and you know that you exist. And inquire, investigate within yourself. How can I be content and let go of attachments? How does recognizing the self in all things transform my perspective on life? What sense-based pleasures am I still seeking, and how do they compare with the joy of the self? What does living fully in the present moment reveal about my true nature? Who am I? Just stay with the I. What am I? What is the nature of my existence? Am I a body, a mind, or consciousness? chant. Om.
Shanti.
Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Peace, peace, peace.
After these satsangs, it's all peace, peace, peace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Somehow this one gave me a real sense of peace.
Me too.
Yeah.
And I still think it's great that Nome speaks to each verse in the Ashtavakra Gita.
Yeah, how did he know?
Anyway, have good inquiry, and we'll see you next week.
Next
Thank
week,
you, Richard.
let's see, next week is
Oh.
Christmas Day.
It's Christmas Day?
Yeah, I think so. And
Okay.
I'm gonna
That
have
might not be the
house tour.
perfect time to do it.
So
We're gonna
you're probably doing something, Richard. We're not.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna have 19 people here.
Probably
Okay, I
not.
think it's probably, while it might be necessary, it's not a good time.
Yeah.
Well, enjoy your family.
And then
Okay.
2 weeks will be New Year's Day. I don't know if that makes a difference. We have a luncheon to go to.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe we'll get together in two weeks again.
Sounds
Yes.
good.
Yes, see you then in a fortnight.
Okay. Okay. Be well. Be well.
Bye.
Namaste.
Bye.